Greetings and salutations, everybody, and Happy New Year. I hope 2025 brings all of you much joy, peace, and prosperity. With much love, and I hope this year blesses you with abundant intellectual breakthroughs. And boy, do I have an interesting puzzle to kickstart this year. It's a probability puzzle, famous airplane seat probability puzzle. So let's jump right into it, shall we? 100 people are about to board a plane. The first person lost their seat number, so chooses a seat at random. The second person chooses their assigned seat if it isn't occupied. Otherwise, they choose a seat at random, and so on and so forth. What is the probability that the last person will be seated at their assigned seat? Pause the video if you'd like to give this problem a try, and when you're done solving it, smash the play button. Okay, let's start out by giving a few definitions. We'll call event A as the first person that sits in the second person's seat. Event B is the second person sitting at the third person's seat. And event C is the third person sitting on the fourth person's seat. Now notice that event A and B are not independent, they're dependent. Event B is dependent on event A. So the formula for such a dependency is probability of B equals probability of A times probability of B given A. So say the second person sits at the third person's seat. The probability is 1 over 100 times probability of B over A, which is 1 over 99, since 99 seats are left unoccupied after the first person is being seated. So that being said, let's start calculating. Okay, the first person sits at random, like we said. Now the second person. Let's calculate the probability that the second person is seated properly, which is 1 minus probability of A, which is 1 minus 1 over 100, which is 99 over 100. Now let's go to the probability of the third person being seated properly, which is 1 minus probability of A minus probability of B, which is 1 minus probability of A minus probability of A times probability of B given A, which is 1 minus 1 over 100 minus 1 over 100 times 1 over 99, which simplifies to 1 minus 1 over 99. Now let's go to the probability of the fourth person seated properly, which is 1 minus the probability of A minus the probability of B minus the probability of C. Now the probability of C is a little tricky. The probability of C is the probability that the third person's seat is occupied times the probability of C given that the third person's seat is occupied. The probability of the third person's seat being occupied is the probability of the first person being on the third person's seat plus the probability of the second person being on the third person's seat. And the probability of C given the third person's seat being occupied is 1 over 98, since 98 seats are left unoccupied after the first two people are seated. So that being said, we have 1 minus probability of A minus probability of B minus probability of C, which is 1 minus 1 over 100. And 1 minus probability of A minus probability of B, we already said this is 1 minus 1 over 99. So we have 1 minus 1 over 99 minus 1 over 100 plus 1 over 100 times 99. And all of that is times 1 over 98. And all of that simplifies to 1 minus 1 over 98. Okay, so far we have the probability of the second person being seated properly is 1 minus 1 over 100. Probability of the third person being seated properly is 1 minus 1 over 99. And the probability of the fourth person being seated properly is 1 minus 1 over 98. I hope you're starting to see a pattern here. So the probability of the nth person being seated properly is 1 minus 1 over 102 minus n. Makes sense? So the probability of the last person being seated properly at his proper seat is 1 minus 1 over 102 minus 100, which is 1 minus 1 over 2, which is 0.5, which is 50%. And that's your answer. 50%, which is a bit counterintuitive, if you ask me. I love problems like this with counterintuitive answers. So yeah, I hope this was an interesting puzzle for you to solve. It looks a bit more daunting than it is. It's a bit easier than it seems. A very interesting puzzle to kickstart this marvelous year, 2025, which I believe is going to be the year of breakthrough and much intellectual stimulation and growth, and spiritual and emotional. So I have many more puzzles in the pipeline of various kinds: probability, algebra, geometry, physics, and even calculus problems, optimization problems, strategy problems, differential equations, and even lateral thinking problems, which I'll be doing in short form since they won't involve any calculations, just straight up logic and common sense. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit those buttons, the like button, comment below what you think. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.